Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful, real-life story about navigating a toxic family dynamic and the immense, quiet courage it takes to finally just walk away. We're going to break down how control is so often disguised as care, and how prioritizing your own mental health is sometimes the absolute hardest, yet most necessary decision you can possibly make.
I want to kick things off with a pretty profound realization. The narrator of our story came to this conclusion. I realized then that no matter how much truth I spoke, they would always choose to misunderstand me. This thought is really the emotional core of our story today. It perfectly frames the massive psychological wall this person was up against. As you'll see, the conflict they faced wasn't rooted in logic or facts at all. It was rooted entirely in control. And that sets the stage for a deeply personal journey from oppressive manipulation straight into empowering independence.
Imagine being offered financial support for your basic daily needs, but it comes with a massive, toxic catch. For the narrator of our story, an older brother provided food and shelter, but he and his wife weaponized that financial leverage to demand absolute obedience. They tried to dictate every single aspect of the narrator's personal life. They even went as far as forcing their religious views, strictly demanding adherence to the 5 Buddhist precepts. It was a stark trade-off, your basic survival in exchange for complete personal submission.
But you know, the narrator didn't just take this sitting down. They tried to set a totally reasonable boundary regarding this forced spirituality, communicating a simple truth. True virtue must come from a willing heart. They honestly explained that religion just can't be forced on someone from the outside. But here's the crucial point. Instead of respecting that healthy boundary, the brother and his wife completely refused to accept it. In their eyes, literally any independent thought was treated as sheer defiance.
So, let's look at the inciting incident, because it really grounds the narrator's active responsibility in hard facts. The brother's father-in-law was coming for a visit, and the narrator stayed home, waiting attentively for the call to go open the door. But out of nowhere, a completely unexpected technical glitch happened. The phone literally just silently muted itself. Because of this, the father-in-law ended up waiting at a nearby tea shop for exactly 48 minutes. But here is the most important part. The absolute second the narrator noticed those missed calls, they didn't hide, they didn't make excuses, they took immediate active responsibility. They reached out, rushed to meet the guest, brought him home, and showed sincere regret for the delay, even though that glitch was entirely out of their control.
Now, the guest ended up staying at the house for 2 full days, and during that entire time, the brother said absolutely nothing. Why? Well, because addressing the situation while the elder guest was still there meant an adult mediator could ensure a fair, rational discussion. Instead, he calculatedly waited exactly 2 days until the guest left, isolating the narrator for a private confrontation. And he opened with this absurd, loaded accusation. Is there hatred growing in your heart? When the narrator actually tried to calmly explain the truth about the phone glitch, because, let's be real, our phones betray us all from time to time, they were completely shut down. The sister-in-law jumped right in, sarcastically interrogating the narrator and mocking the very real explanation as a cheap excuse. She demanded to know why someone who's usually glued to their phone wouldn't check it, and the narrator gave a perfectly logical answer. They were keeping their eyes and mind off the screen specifically so they could focus entirely on listening for that ringtone. But the brother and sister-in-law completely dismissed this. They weren't looking for an explanation. They were looking for a confession of guilt. And here's where the depth of the brother's deliberate manipulation really comes into focus. The actual facts? The father-in-law himself confirmed he waited at the tea shop for under an hour, just 48 minutes. But the brother fabricated this wild accusation, deliberately exaggerating the time to claim the narrator had abandoned the guests for over 2 hours. This just perfectly highlights how these unfair accusations were being manufactured out of thin air. The brother totally ignored the narrator's active responsibility and twisted reality, just to maximize guilt and exert his own dominance.
This whole ordeal triggered a massively empowering psychological progression. First, it hit the narrator like a ton of bricks. The brothers' obsession was entirely about absolute power, authority, and control. They simply couldn't accept that the narrator solved a problem without bowing to their rule. That realization led to the next step. A firm, undeniable refusal to be guilt-tripped, to have their spirituality policed, or to be treated as a submissive servant just for a meal. And finally, the ultimate step, gathering their dignity, packing their things, and physically walking out the door to leave that toxic dynamic behind for good.
But leaving is rarely simple, right? The narrator had to leave a younger brother behind in that house, a younger sibling who worked a regular office job and heavily relied on the narrator to pack his lunchboxes every single day. Walking away meant carrying this deep empathy, this real heartbreak, and the constant worry about how that sibling would actually fare without that daily care.
This brings us to one of the most vital lessons of this entire explainer. The narrator drew a hard, uncompromising line. I cannot sacrifice my own mental health to mother an adult brother. They recognized that prioritizing their own mental well-being over a toxic family dynamic was a matter of absolute survival. You just cannot pour from an empty cup. And wonderfully, they still stay connected by phone, with this highly active, hopeful plan to one day rent an independent home together, completely free from the older brother's control and disrespect.
Now, what makes this stand for independence truly mind-blowing is the physical reality the narrator was dealing with every single day. They forged this new, independent path while navigating the daily physical pain of rheumatoid arthritis. It highlights just immense inner strength. They were choosing the difficult, uncertain path of self-respect while managing a chronic illness, rather than staying in a comfortable but emotionally crushing environment. That takes incredible guts. So what we're looking at here is the complete reclamation of a life. Today, the narrator is preparing for a brand new career. They're taking full control of their own physical health, and they are guiding an authentic spiritual journey completely free of coercion. By choosing self-respect and embracing complete independence, they made a definitive statement. Absolutely no one else will define their worth or dictate their existence. Step by step, they are choosing peace, dignity, and a future built entirely on their own terms.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to turn this inspiring story back to you. We've seen how the narrator traded toxic security for genuine hard-won independence, prioritizing active responsibility and mental health every step of the way. So ask yourself, what boundaries do you need to set today to protect your own peace? Who or what is demanding your submission at the cost of your dignity? It's a really powerful question to reflect on. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this incredible story. Keep learning, keep growing, and please, keep protecting your peace.